Today's video, I want to talk to you about how to deal with MAGA people online and in real life and give you some information that I hope will help you to contact your senators. Hello and welcome back to Resist 47. Like I said, in today's video, I want to do two things. Primarily, I want to talk about, just some advice or just what I think is the best way to perhaps deal with MAGA people who are in your life or who you find online or elsewhere. And then give you some specific information about which senators to contact, whether they're your senators or not, which senators to contact to hopefully put some pressure on the United States Senate to find a backbone and to resist some of the awful appointments that Donald Trump is attempting to make. So first of all, how to deal with MAGA. So this is one of those cases where, there's some hypocrisy in me saying the things I'm about to say because I don't always follow my own rules. That doesn't mean I don't know perhaps what's best. So just 4 points really quickly on dealing with MAGA moving forward, or maybe 5 points. The first point is right now, I don't really think it matters how you deal with MAGA. You can cut them off, you can be mean, you can troll them online. Whatever you want to do that makes you feel better about it is fine. Because right now, really none of Trump's policies are in place. He's not in office. And none of the things that we worry are going to happen are taking place yet. So whatever you want to do there is fine, even though, I'm going to shoot for being more civil in general online. But once, Trump takes office here in a few months, weeks, I think there's some things we need to be careful of. So this point would be, or my second point here would be, don't hope for pain. Don't hope that things go wrong. Don't say things like, oh, just wait until, your family gets deported, or just wait until groceries are even more expensive, and, hope that they learn a lesson because of how much pain that MAGA voters will have to endure if Trump's policies go through. Because, you can't just hurt the people who voted for them. The people who are most vulnerable in our society are the ones who are going to be hurt first, and they're the ones that are going to be hurt the deepest. So please don't root for pain. Please don't root for things to go wrong. As much as I despise Trump and his policies and what he stands for, I hope that we endure the 4 years of his presidency with as little pain as possible. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but that's what I hope for. Second is, don't gloat when things go wrong. It doesn't help at all to convince MAGA members to give up on their allegiance to Trump, their worship of Trump, to realize that they've been defrauded by Trump, to gloat about it when things go wrong. That's just not going to help. And one of the things that I think is important is to realize that at some point we're going to need people to abandon MAGA and Trump and not vote for whoever the next person in line is after him. And so we're going to need those voters. And alienating them by, rubbing it in when things go wrong is probably the wrong way to go. Along the same lines, I would say, don't say we told you so when things do go wrong. Again, nobody likes that. Nobody likes the I told you so approach to anything that's going on in the world. So, try to avoid that. And instead, and my last point would be here, is try to teach without judgment. Try to, talk about, let's just take, for instance, the problem of deporting millions of people who are in the country, illegally. Try to educate them about the impact that will have on the economy, the impact that will have on, humanity, the potential necessity of setting the United States military loose inside the United States to try to round these people up. These are things we need to think about as things that we can teach. Are you going to reach everybody? No, but, the latest vote count has Trump under 50% of the popular vote, and really, except for a few 100,000 votes in a few states, we'd have a different president of the United States. So we don't have to move everybody from MAGA. We just have to move enough people who, I believe there are reasonable people out there, or people who will become reasonable over the next 4 years, that we can get them to move to not vote for whoever Trump's replacement is. So that's kind of the first part of my video. The second part of my video is to give you some information by sharing a graphic with you over here of the senators who are on the various committees that will be voting whether or not to appoint or to, what's the word for it, accept Trump's appointees for various positions. So the first one is Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who is just going to be an absolute disaster as the head of Health and Human Services. Far too much power, very little knowledge. The man is actually kind of an idiot and incredibly dangerous. So the committee there is called the Health, Education, Labor, and Pension Committee, or HELP. And so I'll put a graphic of the Republican members of this committee here. On this committee, there are, I think, at least two Republican senators who might be convinced to vote against RFK. One of them being Lisa Murkowski, who you may remember from the fight over the Affordable Care Act in Trump's first term, voted to preserve that. I think she will vote against RFK. She's from Alaska. I don't think you have to be from the state of Alaska to contact her and encourage her to oppose RFK. Susan Collins, who frequently, expresses dismay over things Trump does and then votes for him anyway. I think, it's possible that people in Maine might be able to help her find her backbone. If the rest of us also contact her, I think that would be good. And then, these are the other Republican senators. And even if you don't think they can be moved, it might be worthwhile to drop them an email, particularly if you're from their state, but even if you're not, and let them know that RFK Jr. is not acceptable to you as one of their constituents or as a person in the United States of America. By the way, all you really have to do to find out how to contact your senator is just say, contact Senator Collins. And her webpage will come up and it will have a way to contact her. You can call her Senate offices. They have ways to email them directly. And, you're left to, wonder if perhaps they actually read these things. But I think if they got a high enough volume of email, a high enough volume of phone calls, then things might be different. So the second committee I want to talk about is the Intelligence Committee. The Intelligence Committee is a little bit different from the other committees, but the Intelligence Committee will be the ones who I believe have the power to approve the nomination of Tulsi Gabbard to the Director of National Intelligence. And I'll put the list of Republican senators who are on the Intelligence Committee right here. It's hard for me to find somebody on that list who might be open to opposing Trump, but maybe you know more about them than I do. But you can see the senators and the states they represent and direct your emails and phone calls accordingly. The third committee is the Senate Armed Services Committee. This would be the committee which I believe will be looking at the nomination of Peter Hegseth to be the Secretary of Defense. He is, incredibly unqualified for that position, and Tulsi Gabbard unqualified for the position of DNI as well, and has some really anti-American positions, has taken those in the past. Hegseth has no experience and no reason to be the Secretary of Defense. So here are the senators on the Senate Armed Services Committee, the Republicans on the Senate Armed Services Committee, and then the Judicial Committee or Judiciary Committee will be looking at the AG. That's Matt Gaetz. That's Trump's apparent nominee. And I will, here's a list of the people on there. You'll notice John Cornyn's name's here. I'm definitely going to continue to contact John Cornyn about opposing that nomination. Some people ask me, what do we say in the email? And it really doesn't have to be very complicated. It just has to be 4 or 5 lines. For instance, mine would be, Dear Senator Cornyn, I'm writing to encourage you to oppose the nomination of Matt Gaetz for Attorney General. Given his past and investigations into him, he would be wholly inappropriate as an Attorney General, and he lacks experience. Sincerely, and then my name. That's really all you have to do. Doesn't have to be much longer than that. If you call, you can just say, I'm calling to oppose the nomination, to encourage Senator Cornyn to oppose the nomination of Matt Gaetz for Attorney General. I mean, that's really all you have to do. It doesn't have to be long, doesn't have to be drawn out. Just registering your opinion as an American, or more powerfully probably as a constituent of one of these senators, is something we can do to voice our displeasure with what's going on. As I said earlier, it appears that Trump is going to get less than 50% of the vote nationwide. This doesn't mean legally he's not the president. It doesn't make his presidency illegitimate in some way. But what it does mean is that he does not have a mandate from the American people. Most of us did not vote for him. So most of us did not vote for the things he's going to do. And therefore, we have the right to resist the things that he is talking about doing, which we believe would damage our democracy, our country, our fellow citizens, and ourselves. And so we definitely have the right to resist that. Anyway, look forward to your comments in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching.